You said, it was just your game. Couldn't get into a rhythm tonight. Is that what it was, based on their defense, or just not feeling it, or what?
No, it was just pretty poor. I mean, what do you want me to say? Seemed like you only ask questions when we lose. It's a weird thing with you, Kenny. Always come around when we lose, I swear.
Come on, Kenny. Of course, LeBron James irritated after a bad night. Hey, welcome to SI Now. It is Monday. It's May 22nd, and I'm Maggie Gray. Well, just how bad were things for King James? Not only did he nearly get into an argument with a fan on the sidelines, well, he turned in one of his worst performances in the postseason. The numbers tell how bad the story is. Watch this. Not pretty. Jordan Schultz, our NBA expert and analyst, joins me right now. All right, LeBron James put the blame on himself for his poor performance, but did the Celtics do anything to expose a weakness or a vulnerability?
I thought, Maggie, he got too comfortable deferring, and guys were making shots early, whether it was Kyrie, he had Kevin Love going the 6 threes early. I thought LeBron got into that, I'm going to facilitate mode, and I don't need to score tonight. And as a result, when he needed to score, he didn't have it. So I think it was a combination of things, but to a degree, Maggie, and this is strange, but when your teammates are playing that well, you get a sense of comfort, and maybe it's a sense of false comfort. I think that's what happened to LeBron last night.
And, of course, they blow the 21-point lead. On the flip side for the Celtics, Marcus Smart found his stroke. He hit more three-pointers in Game 3 than he did in his last 7 games combined. Here is the third-year man on his big night.
These guys, they did a really good job, and the coaching staff are just, keep encouraging me, especially when my shot hasn't been falling. Free throws, missing those. They just really been on me and staying on me to, to stay positive and keep going. So, coming into this game, I just really wanted to stay positive with myself and make sure that I could do everything that I could do to help my team, whether that was scoring, passing the ball, playing defense, and whatever it was tonight. I had a great shooting night. And that was huge for us.
Marcus Smart is our adrenaline performer. It is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Smart was deadly from long range, going 7 for 10 from three-point land. He finished with a team-high 27 points. But, Jordan, the big question, do you trust Marcus Smart to deliver another game like this in the series?
I definitely don't. You guys are 29% three-point shooter. Marcus Smart played out of his mind. Maggie, you mentioned 7 games, is that right? It took him to get 7 threes, and he goes 7 of 10 last night. I thought he was sensational. It was a lot of rhythm threes. He's not gonna be a guy that you want normally taking a couple more than 2 threes a night. They moved him off the ball more this year. He has not shot the ball particularly well, but last night he was in rhythm. A lot of step into threes, stare down threes, and that's obviously a great thing if you're Boston, because somebody had to score, and it wasn't really Avery Bradley. It wasn't an Al Horford, and Smart stepped up. But I don't think you want him taking more threes moving forward. That was a great game, but it was an anomaly.
Yeah, of course, Avery Bradley, though, hits that big shot when it counts, rattles around the rim, and goes in, proved to be the game winner. Now, Isaiah Thomas out for the rest of the postseason after re-aggravating that hip injury. Are the Celtics do they match up better with the Cavaliers without Isaiah Thomas on the floor?
They don't. I don't think they match up better, but I do think it allows guys to get more into an offensive rhythm. And one of the issues with Isaiah Thomas, if you're a Boston fan, is he's going to control the ball a lot. He's always going to be one of the higher usage rates guys in the league, and as a result, the Avery Bradleys and the Marcus Smarts and even some of the bigs aren't going to get the type of touches or the comfort level. So as a result, now with him being out, Isaiah Thomas, you have guys that are getting touches early, they're getting more comfortable. But for me, they're still a much better team when Isaiah Thomas is on the floor. I don't know how you could argue that.
Okay, but we don't want to overreact too much.
Right.
But is this game a direct indication that perhaps the Celtics may not need Isaiah Thomas moving forward. They'd be better off to trade him because the Cavaliers and LeBron James aren't going anywhere, and they have not been able to crack the Cavaliers with Thomas.
Maggie, I would put more credence into that. We talked about it last week. There's got to be at least a serious consideration, if you're Danny Ainge, if you're Boston front office, that you could trade Isaiah Thomas, go get another wing or a big, and then draft a Markelle Fultz or Alonzo Ball or whomever you think is the point guard of the future. But it's really hard to be a 5'9" point guard in the NBA. We know that. But it's even harder as a team to win with a guy like that. If Allen Iverson couldn't do it, I'm not sure Isaiah Thomas can do it. For me, this is definitely a symbol in, hey, I'm not sure we need him as our best player.
We'll wait and see what the fate of Isaiah Thomas is with the Boston Celtics. Okay. Brad Stevens getting a lot of credit for the win in Game 3. Can he and the Celtics replicate that in Game 4 and even this series at two games apiece?
I give them a better shot than I think it seems like most people. A lot of people feel like they're going to get drilled, it seems like, in Game 4. The spread in that game was 15, and it came out late last night. I look at Boston, though, and they're in a rhythm now. They're confident. Marcus Smart's not going to give you 25 again or 27. But maybe Al Horford, maybe Avery Bradley, maybe Kelly Olynyk can spark you. You saw Jerebko hit a big shot last night. Somebody can give them a lift. I don't think they win Game 4, but I think it's closer than everybody would possibly think. And if they were to win Game 4, now all of a sudden you go back to Boston with a tremendous amount of pressure on the Cavs.
All right, Jordan, sit tight, okay? Because we have a lot more NBA to talk about. But while we may be in the middle of the NBA playoffs, it's never too early to talk NFL power rankings. Let's welcome in Peter King. He's the editor-in-chief of the MMQB.com. Peter, a very special two-part Monday morning quarterback column this week. You're ranking all 32 teams. Today, 17 through 32. Tuesday, 16 through number 1. I got to say, Pete, it was a stunner that the Cleveland Browns are not ranked dead last. No, that dishonorable distinction goes to the New York Jets. Why are you predicting the Jets will be the worst team in 2017?
Well, Maggie, look at what the Jets have done this offseason. They were starting from a position of weakness anyway. And what they've done in the offseason is only, to me, buttress the argument that they are basically playing for 2018. I mean, look at the moves they've made and the moves they haven't made. They're going into camp with Josh McCown, Bryce Petty, and Christian Hackenberg. And anybody who thinks that you're going to contend with a lesser offensive line, with a poor running game, without Brandon Marshall, your real go-to physical receiver, and with that triumvirate of quarterbacks, I think is mistaken. Plus, you're coming off a year where, they really regressed defensively. So I just, there's not much positive to talk about, in my opinion, with the New York Jets.
Okay, maybe they're waiting for their franchise quarterback. They probably hope it's in the 2018 draft. Now, along with the Jets and the Browns, the 49ers, Rams, and Bears rounds out your bottom 5. Which of those teams, Peter, has the best chance to really shock us all and put together a strong season?
Well, I think the Bears are an interesting team because if either Mike Glennon or Mitchell Trubisky plays at a top 15 level, they're not a bad team. And at times they played very well. They have a good coaching staff. And so I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears, turned it around. Those other teams, I'd probably be very surprised if, they won any more than 5 games this year.
Okay. The AFC West and the NFC South have only one team in the bottom half of your rankings. So which division do you think is the strongest from top to bottom?
I think the AFC West is the best division in football this year. I could see the San Diego Chargers playing well. I mean, I rated them low, but it's only because it's going to be such a transient year. And again, look, I have absolutely no idea. I don't think anybody has any idea how the Chargers are going to play, especially because how do you know that when they play the Denver Broncos at that basically a AAA football stadium, a mid-level college football stadium in effect, I mean, how do you know that the Denver Broncos aren't going to have 20,000 of the fans there? I mean, I just don't know what to expect out of this move to Carson, out of having training camp in one spot, your training facility during the season in another spot, and to be playing in a 30,000 seat stadium. I think the dysfunction and the transition really hurt the Rams last year, and I think it's going to hurt the Chargers.
Okay, so there'll be that one team that is not so good, and the rest of the division looks strong to you. On the other end of the spectrum, the AFC North and the AFC South both have 3 teams apiece in the bottom half of your rankings. Which division do you think is going to be the worst in football next year?
Well, I think probably if you just base it on, just sort of raw ability and which teams can, have a chance to be really near the bottom, I would say the AFC West, just for this reason. I think that it's a massive rebuilding job for the Niners, a significant rebuilding job for the Rams, and there's a chance this is the last year we're going to see the Arizona Cardinals, really go for it. They've got Larry Fitzgerald and Carson Palmer and Bruce Arians. I don't know what 2018 holds. I know that it looks like they're all in for 2017 and trying to make that drive that they just couldn't finish when they were 4 quarters short of the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
Yeah. You have the Carolina Panthers at number 19. This is just really 2 seasons removed from a Super Bowl run. Now, considering where they were and how talented their quarterback Cam Newton is, Peter, are you starting to question when or if their championship window is going to reopen?
Well, I mean, everybody looked at Cam Newton last year or 2 years ago and thought that, whatever the numbers are, this guy's a top 5 NFL quarterback. He's a top 5 threat at the position. And last year, completing 52.9% or whatever it was a gigantic regression, even though he had a better receiving core than he had the previous year with Kelvin Benjamin back. So, to me, this year for the Carolina Panthers is all about whether Cam Newton accepts the fact that he's going to play some dink and dunk football this year. He's got to get the ball in the hands of Christian McCaffrey a lot. And look, one of the things about playing that style of football versus playing bombs away, which, he has been a guy who likes to throw the ball downfield. Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator and the play caller, likes to get the ball downfield. But this team right now has to take the easy completions. And I just want to see first, is Cam Newton accepting of that? And we haven't seen it yet, so we'll see. I mean, I could easily see them winning their division. Honestly, that's an incredible division because I don't know who's 4th. It's like the NFC East. Tell me, I mean, I put the Washington and Philadelphia down low, but I could see either one of those teams rising up and win the division, especially if Philadelphia gets good play out of Carson Wentz.
Yeah, seeing how he will do in his second-year starter in Philadelphia. Final one for you, Peter. Let's talk about Houston. They won a game in the playoffs last year, and that was with Brock Osweiler. With Deshaun Watson under center, what's the ceiling for the Texans this year?
Well, they won a playoff game because they played against Connor Cook.
That's
very simply, it was like a third preseason game just about because Connor Cook just wasn't ready for that stage. But I think the one interesting thing about Houston right now is that that if they have a quarterback who doesn't turn it over and who can score average 17 or 18 points a game, that they're going to win 10 or 11 games. It's, that's pretty obvious. I just don't know if their offense can do that. Now, Deshaun Watson, it's a big transition for him to go to what he played at Clemson to what Bill O'Brien is going to ask him to do. And I think there are those inside the Texans who believe that this is a classic case of a guy who needs a redshirt year. But I don't think he's going to get a redshirt year. I think he's going to probably, at some point in the first 2 months of the season, he's going to have a very good chance to beat out Tom Savage for the job. Plus, Savage, has had the job twice, and he's gotten hurt both times. So I don't know if he can hold up anyway. So I definitely think that at some point this year, the Houston offense is going to be in the hands of Deshaun Watson.
Looking forward to see what happens tomorrow when you reveal 1 through 16 your power rankings. Peter, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Maggie, thanks for having me. Have a great day.
All right, you too, Peter. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go back to the NBA, shall we? And turning to the Western Conference, the Warriors go for the sweep of San Antonio tonight. And here is a public service announcement to the small minority of Spurs fans who have completely lost their minds. Please stop acting crazy. After a Spurs fan sued Zaza Pachulia for his role in Kawhi Leonard's injury, other fans, a small minority, have taken things way too far. Pachulia has been receiving threats to himself and his family since Gregg Popovich called him a dirty player after Game 1. Now, things were serious enough that security guards were placed outside the school where Pachulia's children go. Okay, Jordan Schultz back in. Does Gregg Popovich owe Zaza Pachulia an apology after this got completely out of hand?
So Pop doesn't owe him an apology because his job is to defend his guys. But the people of San Antonio, these fans, I mean, how sick do you have to be to not only sue somebody, but now you're talking about going after kids at school where you have to actually even have the need to put security guards at the school. That's a really low blow, Maggie. Beyond sports, that's sick.
Okay, so you don't think Pop owes him an apology? Or
No.
should he come out and say, hey, Spurs fans,
yes.
let's,
Right.
let's wipe the barbecue sauce off our brains here?
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like when a coach or a manager is giving a speech to his fans and all of a sudden, like, fans start throwing stuff on the field. I mean, it can't happen. And you would say, hey, we don't do that here. This is the same type of deal. I don't believe Popovich should apologize to Pachulia, but I do think he should come out and say, enough is enough. We want to be classy, and I know we're getting killed here, but let's go. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it also might put a little bit more incentive on the Warriors to finish this thing off. If you thought that perhaps they were going to take their foot off the gas like we saw Cleveland do in Game 3, maybe not so much anymore. All right. Finally, to a team that is not in the playoffs and actually very far from the playoffs. It's the New York Knicks. They're using an interesting playbook when it comes to the development of Kristaps Porzingis. Now, days after Phil Jackson met with Giannis Porzingis, who is the older brother of Kristaps, in an attempt to repair the team's shaky relationship with the Latvian big man, the Knicks decided not to renew the contract of assistant coach Josh Longstaff. Now, this is Kristaps Porzingis' favorite assistant, someone he requested work with the Latvian national team this summer for the European Championships. Jordan, how do you interpret Phil's latest move?
You can't interpret it in any rational way because doing that isn't rational. You remember a week or two ago when we thought, was Porzingis really hacked on Twitter about, the trade me deal? We didn't really know what to make of it.
LA Clippers smiley face?
Yeah, we didn't know what to make of it. But to get rid of a coach that this kid has repeatedly said, this is my guy, I love him, I want him working with the national team, not only with me, but with other guys I grew up with. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And Phil Jackson, it seems like everything he's done, Maggie, it seems like none of it's really worked. And this was a 50-win team before we got there. They've gotten progressively worse. The one guy if you're Phil Jackson, is the future of this organization, is Kristaps Porzingis. You got to keep him happy. And part of that is saying, whatever you love as a coach, especially an assistant, we're going to keep and we're going to make sure you're happy. He's going to work out with you in the summer, whatever you want. And obviously that is not happening.
Okay, devil's advocate here. Someone who says these NBA stars are coddled, they're babied. Why should Phil Jackson have to keep this assistant coach just because Porzingis happens to like him? What would your answer be to that?
My answer would be, with normal players, that's fine, but this is not a normal organization. This is an organization with a completely fractured trust from its owner all the way down, and this is not a normal player. I mean, I think even the most hateful Nick hater would say Kristaps Porzingis is going to be one of the best players in the league for the next 10 years. This is your franchise. This is your future, Maggie. You got to take care of him because also now, what's to say another free agent would say, I want to go to New York? But why would they if not only the organization is completely messed up from top to bottom, but now you have a GM, a front office guy that's saying we don't take care of our players. if they want to coach, we're going to almost progressively go out and say we don't want you here.
Yeah, also, it seems like in terms of things that superstars can demand from a team,
assistant coach,
keeping an assistant coach just doesn't seem like a big
right, and that he's more of a personnel guy. It's not like this guy's doing a ton of game planning. Like he's charged with working out guys and getting them better, keeping them happy, keeping them in shape. That's the least you can do if you're Phil Jackson, and obviously he didn't do it.
All right, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Porzingis ever going to come back from Latvia?
I don't know. He might just stay there. Yeah.
Might just stay at this point. Jordan, really
Thanks,
appreciate
Maggie.
it. All right, NBA draft prospects Justin Jackson and Jarrett Allen are fresh off the scouting combine in Chicago. But when they stopped by our studio last week, we had a few more drills to put them through. Watch this. Justin Jackson, Jarrett Allen, you both are just coming off of the NBA draft combine, so we're going to put you through the Sports Illustrated combine. It's going to be our spinning wheel. All right, Jerry, you're first up. Go ahead, give that thing a spin. All right, we've hit the stare down. 3, 2, 1, go. You liked it. Out already. Tap out. All right. Yeah. It's possible that you could get a little redemption. It's on the wheel twice.
Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Kind of really hoping for thumb war. All right. Would you rather have Russell Westbrook pick out all of your outfits for a year, or have Russell Wilson pick out all of your outfits for a year?
I'd probably have to go with Russell Wilson. Yeah, I'm I guess a little less than what Russell does, Westbrook does. So I'd probably go Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Same boat. I don't want to look like a photographer.
Yeah.
Never have I ever thought about buying Lonzo Ball's shoe.
I have to say I have.
You have thought about buying the
I
shoe. What do you think? Are you going to get the Zoe too?
No, I'm not gonna get them.
But you thought about it.
It was a quick thought, but never happened.
Booyah. Okay. Come on
ready.
over, Jared.
ready.
You get a little payback. Deep breath in. So we know that Justin won pretty convincingly in round 1. Okay, ready? On 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I'm ready this time.
Come on now. It's starting to burn.
It is.
That
I'm back in.
that actually got very intense. I was feeling it a little bit.
Oh.
All right, thumb war, guys. Come back over, Jarrett. We're going classic thumb war rules. Are we
It's
ready
not
to
fair.
go?
His hands are bigger.
Ready? And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war.
And on guard.
No. Watch out. Wow. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yep. Yep.
1, 2, 3. Justin is the winner. Wow, that was also a fantastic thumb war. I feel like that's honestly where we should end it. I don't know if we're going to get any better than that. Guys, thanks so much for playing our wheel. Our take, Sports Illustrated's take on an NBA draft combine. We wish you guys the very best. Congratulations. What a
Thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you for
Great
having me.
sports.
Thank you.
Good news for fans who are waiting on the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor super match. Mayweather revealed to The Telegraph over the weekend that in his opinion, the fight is, quote, 90% there. Easily, this is the most encouraging development to date. Of course, McGregor is more than eager to make this fight official. He had this to say on Twitter: "Solid work today. Sign your end, Floyd, or you are just a mouth." Ring size, boxing gloves, and an actual venue are some of the many questions that still need to be answered, but that hasn't stopped other fighters from wanting to get in on the action. World heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua said this: "Get me on the undercard." That's legendary bleep. That fight will go down in history. It will be part of history. And just how historic remains to be seen. Of course, Mayweather's bout against Manny Pacquiao shattered the record for pay-per-views with over 4.4 million buys. And while UFC President Dana White says McGregor is a bigger star than Pacquiao, we'll see if the numbers bear that out. For now, we'll see how long it takes for 90% to turn into a 100% certainty. And that's going to do it for us on this Monday. Thanks so much for watching SI Now. We will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. But until then, stick with SI.com for all the latest news. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.